Yeah, I think we will get that by maybe by more experience in this field, and as more CPOs goes within the company, then it will be clarified which approach is better. And as far as I know, the CPO is first invented by a kind of analogy, and looking to the other roles within the companies, and some philosophers felt that maybe we should have a philosophy within a company. And if we want to compare a CPO with someone like doing business intelligence, some BIs that they are looking within the company business manner, and they find out some maybe problems within the business, and I like to know a CPO looks for what kind of problem within an organization.
That's really interesting, because it was in the interview with B. Scott Rose. He actually talked about this directly, about the problem-solving way of being that we live in companies. And maybe the CPO, that was his take, is not looking for problems to solve. I mean, it is apparent that we have many problems to solve in companies, and we need problem-solving talent, problem-solving perspectives, but that might not be all that we need. And yeah, so to take that point a bit further, if you ask the question, what is going on in an organization and what is this organization about, then you cannot have a problem-solving mindset, because that is already kind of shaped by the thought that we already know where this is going. But the decisive aspect of the CPO would probably be to take a step back and to not look at problems, but to look at what is going on, and not deliver solutions, but maybe deliver problems that needs to be solved. Yeah, maybe spotting the right problems would be a thing. Yeah, I think that that this could be essential for the chief philosophy officer to have a different relation to problems.
Yeah, very nice. It's very interesting and fascinating for me, for your point of view as a philosopher to this organizational stuffs. And yeah, there is a big problem in many companies nowadays. It's like not good communication within the company, and maybe people and departments they have problems with communication. They how problems on understanding and realizing each other. How a CPO can help an organization to improve the communication within this organization.
Yeah, that's very, very essential aspect, I guess. Communication, I think if we talk about communication and the chief philosophy officer, it comes to the self-understanding of the organization. And that again goes back to finding a language, to creating a language that is not something that comes from the outside, but that is actually yeah, a result of how people do their things. I mean, Charles Spinoza said, understanding what people are doing behind their backs. And so really getting, for example, departments to find a language for what they are doing, and also a language that is not their own language, but that is kind of within the culture of the whole company. And it is also an aspect that is not only for the organizational level, but for the individual level. So if we talk about self-understanding of people within organizations, there is one really interesting thing Charles Spinoza brought up. So he said that if he talks to senior management, then, and if it is about what brought them there to senior management, most say humility and persistence. And that is the answer, and that is within the rationale that is that is going on there. That is the way you react to these questions. You have to say you're humble and you are persistent, and there is no way to express something different maybe. And what he does is to look at other virtues that we might have, to look at courage again, to look at wisdom, and to introduce or to reintroduce them into the cultures of companies. And this way people could develop a new self-understanding and a new way of creating themselves within the organization. And that is something, like I said, that has to be not only on the organizational but also on the individual level, and comes down probably to workshops, to structures, and also to coaching.
Yeah, thank you very much. And you told that how it helps in cultural development within the organization, but how this organizational philosophy and to be more precise, this CPO can help to develop cultural stuff outside of organization and within the society. Thank you for your answer, but you told how organizational philosophy and to be exact, the CPO can help to develop culture within an organization, but how this organizational philosophy can help to develop culture outside the organization and within the society.
Yes, I think that's a really important part. And if we talk about the self-understanding of an organization, and we have a broadening of the view that is not only limited to maybe, I don't know, shareholder value or to certain stakeholder interests, but it includes also the question of what is the organization in the broad context, then we definitely have a different relationship between the organization and its environment, be it the ecological environment or the social environment. So there's a real chance for organizations to become more than what they were before, actually.
Maybe active member of society, big actors.
Yes, we could say it like that. And I don't know why, but I always go back to Aristotle somehow. But he had this idea of the polis of the state, and the households were parts of this state. And we can only understand the parts of something through the whole. And by not thinking about what is the whole, like the whole entity of it anymore, we of course limit the possibilities for organizations to become something that actually belongs to the whole. And that would be one way to integrate it, but there are of course other ways. We do not need to have a revival of ancient Greek cosmology or whatever, but it would be interesting to talk about it, especially in regards to the Anthropocene. I mean, with human as a major force in the world, and as the species that actually influences our ecological environment, we of course have to talk about in what kind of world we are living.
Yeah, thank you. And how you see the future of CPO?
I mean, I think that from the interviews, most people saw kind of a trend towards an openness for philosophy in business contexts, and so that could be it could be an actual path that we will see more CPOs, we will see more maybe also philosophical consultants in companies. But it is not necessarily like that. I don't know. I would not want to make a forecast here, but there are some signs and also some things that are happening, like the discussions about purpose, about sustainability, and they all kind of lead in this direction of understanding business in a different way than we understood business decades ago. And we have to say we're in the middle of it. It's not just like that the CPO is a new idea and we are still in the world of only profit maximization. There are companies who who understand themselves in a different way than that, of course, right now.
Yeah, thank you. And you told something that about relation between CPO and sustainability, and how CPO can help a company to improve sustainability.
Yeah, I mean that is a really interesting question, because the term sustainability, it is used in any corporate language right now, and it is there is not one large company that does not care about sustainability. But the question is, what do we mean by sustainability, and how are these desires to build a sustainable economy connected to what is actually going on with the companies? And so I really don't know. It depends on what we understand by sustainability. But of course, the ecological dimensions, they could gain more weight with the question, what is an organization? Because obviously, for a long time, people did not consider the environment something that is actually connected, or that is that can also suffer under the activities of business. And so there might be a chance for the CPO, but the way the term is used right now, I don't know if it would be the best driver for change in that direction. But I'm also not an expert on sustainability, so yes.
Thank you. And we know that some companies, some big companies in Silicon Valley already started, maybe as I read within your book, that they started to employing CPOs in their companies, and also some companies here in Europe, they are looking for defining such a position in their organization. And also this term is inserted to our organizational culture in Iran by Daydat. He first defined such a role in some companies within the Iran. Do you think it's growing, and more companies here in Europe and also US, they are getting more interested in CPOs?
Yeah, I mean, to give a good answer to this, we would need a sociologist who actually studies on the one side how people talk about the role, and on the other side how it is implemented or not implemented in companies. So I can only give my very subjective perceptions of this. And I mean, I said in the beginning of the interview that I found it hard to find CPOs when I started the research. There were many articles on CPOs, also the ones saying that in the Silicon Valley they are hiring them. But after publishing the book, I was contacted by many people who either work as a CPO or say, oh, that would be a nice role to have. And so it could be that it is a growing trend, and maybe there are some indications for that. But I would not be too sure about it. And even if it is a trend, we would really have to find out what kind of trend it is, and how people fill out this role and what they understand by it. Because maybe I should say it again. There were really 8 very different takes on the CPO in the book, and then there is also my take on it somehow. And it is not a coherent concept, we can say, yet, or maybe it will never be a coherent concept actually. And so there's a lot of uncertainty, but there's also a lot of possibilities and a lot of room for experiments. And I could actually imagine that there might be an increasing number of companies who would be willing to try out a CPO and to see where this might be leading.